A Monumental Murder, Part 4, Even When It's a Sign. Pete had been murdered on a Wednesday, hump day. The night of the murder, she had been dead inside. By Thursday morning, she was different. By Thursday night, she knew what she needed to do. Hamilton's used card lot had been her home since the 90s. While everything from hairstyles to storefronts changed around her, she had remained roughly the same. She wouldn't have called herself psychic, because what sign is psychic? But she did call herself intuitive. And that's how she knew that Jim and Cooper would be back. She just hadn't expected them to come back Thursday night. It was just about midnight when she saw the familiar headlights that belonged to Pete's Chevy Impala. They came toward her, and just as the car parked in the lot, the lights went dark and the tires slowed on the gravel. Jim and Cooper got out of the car. Pete's car. Now Jim, he was tall and thin, a tough piece of beef jerky. Cooper was medium-sized, wavy black hair, a nervous type you never want to have around because they make you nervous too. Kind of like Jell-O. Jim carried a shovel, and Cooper just watched him carry it. I mean, a shovel at midnight? Stupidity bothered her. It was bad enough that Pete was dead. Pete had been a really good guy. He hadn't done anything to deserve the ending that he got. Now these two idiot heads were going to try and bury him in the back lot behind the car lot with one shovel. Stupid. But somehow she counted on this. Jim and Cooper were jealous that Pete had such a nice car. They couldn't stand that Pete drove around town looking like he was better than everyone else. Couldn't stand it even more that Pete was going to buy Bobby Dean's, their favorite bar just across the street, where they choked poor Pete to death. Pete was a developer. He was going to tear Bobby Dean's down and build a multi-purpose housing development. Now see, Pete was about progress. He wanted to bring life back to Main Street. He'd grown up in these parts and wanted the town to thrive again. Jim and Cooper didn't like that kind of progress. They liked Bobby Dean's exactly how it was, and that was that. Jim walked a few steps toward her. He leaned the metal shovel against her side, and he pulled a lighter from his saggy jeans pocket and lit a cigarette. She'd never been this close to him. As he pulled on his cigarette, she saw creases around his deep eyes, saw that time had gotten to him too. His skin was taut, stretched across his cheekbones in a way that suggested history had a hand in his appearance. Jim looked toward Bobby Dean's, across the street. He took in the scene from her point of view. "You think anybody saw us last night?" Jim said. His voice was raspy, and he coughed to kick-start it into place. I mean, it was dark, right? And the band was playing, and I don't think anybody saw us. Cooper cracked his knuckles. She hated that sound. It irritated her. Cooper stammered. It happened so fast, Jim. I mean, what do you think? What do you think? And Jim pointed his lit cigarette into Cooper's face. "I don't think nothing, Cooper, and neither should you. But nothing. Now listen here, Cooper. We talked about this, remember? Pete had it coming." "Well, he had it coming," Jim shouted. "Who the hell did he think he was?" Cooper cracked his knuckles again. "We've got to do something with the body, Jim." "Well, don't you think I know that?" Jim coughed, wiping his mouth with the back of his hand. "The longer we wait—" "Cooper, shut up and let me think." She found it infuriating that they felt so at ease with talking about their crime in front of her. It was like she didn't exist and like Pete's life meant nothing. She'd already decided how she was going to spook them, show them her powers, which she knew she could do. She squeezed her insides with all her might and lit up her front. I mean, she was a sign, after all. On her front, she wrote, "I know what you did." It was Cooper who noticed the sign first. His face paled. Oh my God, he shook. Look, Jim, look!" Jim came around to Cooper's side and stood next to him. She flashed the sign again. I know what you did. Jim's eyes got big. Cooper spun around. You said there were no cameras, Jim. There ain't, Jim shouted. Somebody. Jim's eyes narrowed. He looked out around him. He did a full 360 to survey just who was out there. Whoever you are, now you show yourself. You want to be a big shot? Show yourself. The two men stood back to back, looking in the darkness for a sign, but none came. She watched them act like the cowards they were. Perplexed, Cooper whispered, Do you think they might be in there? He pointed toward the abandoned building that used to be Joe Hamilton's office. The sign above was intact, mostly. Joe's daughter, Lydia, had upgraded the building sign a few years ago. Backlit channel letters, if you're wondering. But some jerk-faced kids had shot out most of the letters in Hamilton's used cars to strategically leave 3 letters that are a swear word for your butt. ASS if you're having trouble. Now Jim looked at the building, snarled his lip. Come on, Cooper. Let's go see if somebody's in there. Lady Jane, that was her name, the one given to her by Joe. She knew she had to act fast. She didn't believe in murder, but sometimes a girl has to do what a girl has to do. She was a sign. She knew herself. She knew how she was wired and how powerful she could be if only she believed in herself. So when Jim went to reach for the metal shovel that was leaned against her, she turned up all the juice she had. Her wires had been exposed and electricity work around her had been shoddy, and why Lydia hadn't invested in upgrading Lady Jane fully. She called on the electrical currents that ran above her and below her and shot them all into the metal of that shovel that was going to bury poor Pete. Jim never knew what hit him. And because his body reacted so violently, he swung that shovel around and it whacked Cooper in the back of his head and, well, that's all she wrote. The police came the next morning, discovered quite a scene with 2 dead bodies and 1 in the car. You should have heard all the speculations they had about what happened. When they asked one another, now who do you think around here knows the truth? But she tried to tell them. At the bottom of her sign was another little sign. It used to read, Welcome. But over time, only 2 of the letters worked, the ones on the end. So she lit up those 2 important words in bright neon red, M-E, me. But you know how things go. Folks don't want to see what's right in front of them, even when it's a sign. End of part 4. The end. Thank you for listening.